Okay people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today let's take a look at the McFarlane Toys Fortnite Quadcrasher. And just to keep things interesting, I also found this, so we'll look at Wildcard Black too. Disclaimer, as always, when it comes to the Fortnite stuff, I've never played the game. Sure, go out there and play the game! I have my set schedule, I have my games I like to play, and I like toys, so I grabbed Fortnite toys. I actually found Wildcard at my local Walmart a couple of weeks back, a month or so, but now that I found the Quadcrasher, which is apparently hitting GameStops right now, I actually found this one in Amarillo, Texas. Amarillo, you know how to spoil a collector. But I actually didn't think this was coming out till later in the year. Seeing this on the shelf was like, I'll take that. Looking at the packages, it's what we're used to from the McFarlane series. With the Quadcrasher, you get this big window. You can see the whole vehicle up inside there. There's even a window on the end where you can see the front. On the back, it shows some of the features, a figure on the actual Quadcrasher, some of the newer, well, this is a lot of the series. I'm still looking for Ragnarok and the AIM or AIM or whatever it is. I've also seen this glider pack, or both versions, at several stores, but I don't know. It's neat, but I just haven't brought myself to buy it. Mostly thinking, where the hell do I have room for all this? Of course, then I buy the Quadcrasher, so what do I... On the other side, Quadcrasher from the game. Top window, another picture. On the bottom, all the legalese. It was $30 at GameStop. I believe it is $24.99 on Amazon. And then for Wildcard, your standard McFarlane packaging. You see everything it comes with. On the side, what he looks like in the game, I kind of dig that it's grayish on the paint on the mask and then the gloves themselves, because it's actually deep black here on the figure, and you kind of see some detail because of the lightness there. On the back, other releases. In the McFarlane line, red and black are separate releases. I decided to go with black just to try it out, but I ain't lying, I'll end up with the red. I'm not kidding anybody. On the other side, more nice art, more grayscale to that. On the top, again, another picture. On the bottom, here's your legalese. Let's get this open. Pulling out the tray for Wildcard, you can see the stand is blister packed to the back of the packaging, and I'm never going to use the stand, so but there you go. It has pegs. Looking at Wildcard first, it's just, I don't know what we've come to expect with the McFarlane Fortnite line. You've come a long way, Todd. Very nice sculpted suit body. This whole top piece from shoulder down to the bottom of the jacket is all one piece, including this vest. The undershirt and the tie is actually part of the torso up under. And the overlay is a soft material that doesn't get in the way of articulation up here. You see the buttons down the vest, the pocket, the flaps. There's just very slight wrinkles here and there to break it up, but if you're looking at it, it's like, well, dude in a white suit. But that's the game. This is what this character looks like, and what is on here looks very nice. It probably could have done with a wash of some kind to bring out some of the detail, maybe, but at the same time, I feel like that would take it further away from the game itself. There's buttons back here on the cuff, and you can even see shirt sticking out of the end of it. The pants just continue that same trend. The shoes are straight, glossy, polished black, but the gloves are kind of a matte black, so it looks like a difference in materials between the two. Same for the tie. It's a matte black, matches the gloves, but you get up to the head, the paint on the mask itself is a gloss black, again, tying back down to the shoes. So it's an overall nice, balanced piece, but it definitely has that Fortnite styling to it, with the longer legs, high crotch. It's just slightly off normal human proportions, you know what I mean? It's definitely video game styled. But speaking of the head, inside that black paint, you can see that the eye sculpt is there. And those may be slightly different finish from the black paint right here, but not enough to really stand out against it. But you can see the straps coming back to hold the mask on. There's kind of a difference in sheens between the blacks of the straps and then the under hood, helmet, whatever, just to throw a little bit of contrast in there. And then the silver buckles on there are also nicely painted. And then looking at the Quadcrasher, I don't get a lot of vehicles, but I couldn't pass this up. It just looked really cool. The sculpting, you can see that these wires right here are separate pieces going down into the plastic of the body. The front shield is a hard plastic piece that seems separate, but somehow attached right here, and then attached right here to the front of the frame sticking out. And this frame right here is actually the same piece that runs all the way back through. That comes all the way to this jet rocket on the back, I guess you use in the game. I've seen a couple of videos where this blasts every now and then like a boost, so that's cool to have that on there too. And up inside you can see it's yellow. I would have kind of liked to seen like some char to it, some burn, but at the same time it ties back to the overall color scheme. The rack up here seems to be attached directly to the body, but you'll notice this piece right here is a separate piece little bit softer material running back all the way down to the foot pedals down here. The wheels are rubbery. They are a separate piece from the hubs, and they roll really, really nice. And while it looks like it has suspension, these springs, these shocks right here and right here and right here, there are separate springs on it, which is very cool. But I would have liked to seen the axles themselves be springy up and down to give it a little bit of bounce. As it is, it's solid. Face painted on the front, very nicely done. It looks rough, but at the same time, it doesn't look like it's gonna scratch off. You'll notice Cuddle Team Leader right here on the side. The other side has the llama with quad under it. The back hub is white with just a yellow ring, but the spiral up here is kind of... You'll watch more Fwoosh reviews. There's some blue in places just to break it up a bit. And then the racing strap right here, the rest is molded in either the yellow or the gray, light gray, darker gray. Articulation on Wildcard, there is a ball. Well, there is a dumbbell joint going up into the head, down into the neck, while the neck itself is kind of on a ball joint. So, gets very nice down. Up kind of gets caught. It doesn't really like to look up. Very nice tilt though, and that's my favorite. And then of course that swivel side to side. Dumbbell joint coming out to the shoulder with a cap right there to kind of hide it, but you can get forward, you can get back. Goes up, it goes down, and then at the end of that is a hinged swivel that comes up to there. Swivels around, swivel at the bicep. Double elbow, watch this magical shit. Right there, all the way up. The wrist is a swivel hinge swivel, kind of figure art style. You can go up and down with the wrist, or if you take it and get it to turn, you can go side to side with it. Then of course there's swivel. There's a ball joint mid-torso hidden behind here, and at the waist too, so you can crunch forward. As soft as the jacket is, it still hinders a little bit because it's closed off. There's no cuts. Also arcs back, again with the tilt side to side. The hips have that design where when it's in neutral position, it only has the line coming up and around. You can't hardly tell that it has range of motion in there. But you open it up and you can see that there's a swivel, there's a hinge, and for some reason, this doesn't like to come up as far as I feel like it should. But if you come up and around with it, you can get it out to about right there. But be careful overextending it, because if you get it and you pull, you're gonna pull the hip off the peg inside. And doing that, you can see the ball joint up inside there. I think all the engineering is there. There's just not enough physical space to get it all the way up and out. Because you try to put it back together like that, and you can't get it back on the peg. You've gotta come in, drop this down to here. You can hear the detents, push it back on, pop, back. There's a little rotation up in there, but again, the constraints of our physical plane and plastic not being flexible, you get a little bit. Double knee comes most of the way up, doesn't quite kick his own ass. Same articulation from the wrist coming down to the ankle. You can swivel it side to side. You can angle it back, angle it forward. The pants get in the way right there. And there is some forward-facing pin, and then a toe joint comes up to there. Articulation here, I know we're talking about a vehicle, but there is some moving parts. Like I talked about, the wheels roll really, really nice. The springs are separate pieces. You can get some springiness to there. The handlebars, for some reason, have this position, and then they also click forward, I guess, for larger characters maybe, but the hand guards and then this one with the mirror over here also rotate on the handles. And then there is a swivel to the handlebars themselves, but that does not control the tires. For accessories, we already talked about this head that easily pops off at the dumbbell joint, and then the other head also includes that same joint, pops right on, works just as well. He comes with Crystal Llama back bling. It comes in a beautiful, beautiful blue that I may be a little bit biased towards. Nice angles to the sculpt itself, and then there's a peg on the back that plugs right here. And that works completely, even though I don't know how much you can store in a Crystal Llama. And then he has a grappler, which is essentially a plunger that shoots out, I guess, and it has some rope or something, but I really like the different colors they've used here. Plus this being clear right here, and you can kind of see the inner workings itself. That does not come out. I just feel like that is a neat effect overall. Yeah, that's pretty sweet. Accessories for the Quadcrasher, nothing, it just comes by itself. Size-wise, Wildcard stands at a whopping 6 13/16 inches tall. Here he is with other McFarlane Toys Fortnite figures, Cuddle Team Leader and Skull Trooper. And for being my first, she's probably still my favorite McFarlane Fortnite figure. And Wildcard fits in perfectly here. But you have to remember, this is a 7-inch scale line, and the Jazzwares Fortnite line is straight up 6-inch. Here's the Jazzwares Fortnite Havoc, Firefly, and Wildcard. Wildcard. Definite size difference here. Also, you can see the designs are on different eyes. I don't know if that's a thing in the game that you can put it on either side or what. I don't know. If you're planning on using either of these Wildcards for like Moon Knight in Marvel Legends or something like that, guess what? Marvel Legends is 6.5-inch scale. Because here he is with the Marvel Legends Deadpool too. Here he is with a couple of NECA 7-inch scale figures. Here's Joker from The Dark Knight, and then of course the 1990 movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Donatello. And then also a little big for the Mezco 1/12 Collective Batman and Joker. For the Quadcrasher, height-wise, it's about 4 3/4 inches up to the handlebars. And then overall length is about 10 inches. Like I said, I don't have a lot of vehicles, but here it is with the Star Wars Biker Scout and Speeder Bike. The SH Figure Arts Ant-Man with Ant. They're both fairly large. And then the Marvel Legends Riders Deadpool with Scooter. You can see the Quadcrasher is big. But like I said, 7-inch scale, it looks good with an actual McFarlane Toys Fortnite figure. Because of the hips on this figure, though, he doesn't want to get his ass down on the seat, but he looks good standing on it. But even figures with a little bit more range, it's difficult to get them all the way down onto the seat. It can be done, you just have to mess around with it a little bit. You'll notice there's also pegs back here. Although the pegs aren't the tightest to go up in the feet, they're actually a little bit loose. Let me see who else I got. They're actually tighter on Rex than they are for Wildcard. Rex is more of a tight fit, stays on there while you're rolling it around. But if you're wanting to use it for Marvel Legends, yeah, it may be a little bit big, but it's also armored up. I guess you could fudge it in if you wanted to. And that also goes for the Jazzwares line too. Again, Quadcrasher may be a little bit big for it. It's 7-inch scale. It's not supposed to go with 6-inch, but it's a vehicle. You can just, you can do whatever you want. It's your toy. Okay, messing around more. Look at that. I got his ass down on the seat. It's all in the knees. You have to bend them, kind of get the leg back a little bit. So at the end of the day, a pretty fun set. I'm starting to like the Fortnite characters more and more, even though I don't know much about the game itself. I'm a sucker for all these different looks in the same style. And then, like I mentioned, I don't get a lot of the vehicles, but at the same time, this is cool. It's small enough to fit on a shelf. It has some features to it, and it just looks good with the figures themselves. And then with Wildcard, it's just an awesome guy in a cool suit. On top of that, it's nice to see McFarlane, you know, moving forward, evolving into more of a super articulated toy line. It gives me high hopes for their DC line. See what's going on there, because ooh, I'm getting impatient for that. So between McFarlane and Jazzwares, they've made me a fan of a property I have no attachment to, and that is a true sign of a good action figure line. That's where I'm ending it right there. That's all I have to say. And if you see them, pick them up. Yeah, I gotta go back and get that Wildcard red that I left. So if you like this review, comment, like, subscribe. I'll catch you on the Fwoosh.